Hi everyone, welcome, good to see you. Let's go. We're going to begin with the four thumps. It's a wonderful place to begin. You can do energy exercises in any order of your choosing, which means that any of your favorites can be ones that you pick at different times in the day. So today, as you balance your energies, I invite you to notice any exercises that stand out to you, anything that makes you feel better, even in subtle ways. And then doing your best to remember to pepper things in throughout the day. We're going to go about an inch below the centre of the collarbone now. Balancing your kidney meridian energies here. And now coming right into the middle of your chest for your thymus thump. Let's tap here a little longer this morning, remembering to take deep breaths as you go. Your breath will help the energy to move. Noticing how are you feeling as you balance your thymus energies. Sometimes it can be really nice to do some of the exercises for longer. So generally with each of these four thumps, doing them for about 2 or 3 breaths is usually enough. But sometimes to continue for several minutes or even longer and seeing how does that land in your energies. Sometimes you can have quite a profound, unexpected experience from doing that. And maybe already just from spending a little bit longer today on the thymus, you can notice, that feels a bit different. And I think I like that. The fourth of the thumps is the spleen thump. So about halfway down your rib cage. And the two locations that we tap on are the side of the body and then at the front below the breasts. And sometimes there can be quite a vast difference in these two locations. You might find that one of the spots is quite sore compared to the other. It can really vary and depends on you and your unique energies. So just noticing and then remembering that usually when we have soreness, that's indicating congestion in your energies. So soreness is usually energy that's become tight and blocked up. So the tapping that we're doing now, thumping on these points, helps to break up the stuck energy. And relaxing your arms now, checking in with yourself, noticing how are you feeling after doing the four thumps. Now we'll cross our energies over, so lifting one leg up and then tapping with the other hand and continuing this marching. And yes, do stand if you'd like to, or if normally you stand while doing your energy exercises, then perhaps you might try staying seated, seeing what that's like. And just continuing back and forth, going at whatever pace feels right. Welcoming more crossing in your energies. So crossing is all about getting the energy moving from left to right, right to left. It becomes quite relevant when you consider things like your brain with your right and left hemisphere. And you want to have a good energetic communication and relationship between the two sides of your brain. So keeping your energies crossed is one of the things that will help to maintain that. And there are several ways we can cross our energies. So the cross crawl that we're doing now is one. Let's go on to shoulder pulls. For those of you who are more kinesthetic, you might prefer this way. So smoothing down from your shoulder to the opposite hip, doing that several times, and then repeating on the other side. It can also be nice to cross at the back of the body, so let's do that today. So reaching in front of you and visualizing, intending that you're at the back of your body, doing the same movement, going from your shoulder down to the opposite hip. All right, so now we have tended to our crossovers. Let's make sure we are not scrambled. So crossing one leg over the other, bringing your arms out, palms out, crossing your hands and clasping your fingers and coming underneath. And in this position, we'll take several deep breaths. And remember, this exercise is all about untangling inner chaos. And that inner chaos can manifest for each of us in different ways. But consider times that you're feeling overwhelmed, that you can't think clearly, maybe you're not feeling fully focused and grounded. These are all signs that you need a wake up. So as you're holding now, can you feel subtly, or maybe not subtly, feeling more grounded, more at ease? Now we're going to switch to do the same thing on the other side. So crossing your legs over the other way. And once again, taking several deep breaths. Keeping your awareness and presence with your body and energies. And now we close the Wayne Cook with fingers and thumbs together, popping your thumbs to rest above your nose and taking a breath here. Then resting your fingers flat, dragging over to your temples, and let's shake off the hands. So releasing any excess energy and then going into the crown pull. So stretching now to make space. And as you go, it's always lovely to really notice what this feels like, because a lot of energy can get stuck at the crown, and then we can get soreness, tension, headaches even. So any sore spots, it's worth doing another time, perhaps slowing down the pressure, pulling a bit harder. One of the times you might want to introduce extra crown pulls is if you're in front of a screen a lot. So when we are in front of a screen, for many of us, that can cause energy to get stuck in the head. So my advice would be, if you've spent an hour or two in front of your computer or your phone, then before you go on to the next thing in your day, just take a few seconds. It doesn't need to be as full and thorough as what we're doing here. You might just go over your crown quickly, give yourself a quick massage and stretch. The next exercise we'll do is the zip up, so beginning with your hands resting at your pubic bone. And I invite you this morning to consider, if you knew which colour would be most beneficial to zip yourself up with and keep yourself protected from outside energies, what colour would that be today? And now imagining that colour coming from your fingertips as you breathe in and come all the way up the middle of your body, over the top of your head, and as you breathe out, touching the edges of your aura, bringing your arms back down, and then repeating that motion, bringing in that colour still. And then on the fourth or fifth time, coming up the midline to your lips, now turning your hands to lock that zipper pin. And we'll go on to a hook up exercise. So placing the middle finger of one hand inside your belly button, your other middle finger on your third eye, and with both fingers pushing in, pulling up. So you create some pressure there, connecting these two areas and also connecting central and governing meridians. So we get these two energy pathways harmonious in a loop. And noticing how you're feeling as your energies connect in this way. If your arms start to feel a bit tired, you could release the pressure, shake them off, and switch. Do a breath or two the other way around. It is lovelier to hold a hook up for longer sometimes. Usually about 2 or 3 breaths will be enough. But depending on the person, longer can bring more benefits. And certainly when we hold a hook up for several minutes or longer, that has the effect of supporting central and governing. So they activate as radiant circuits, not just meridians. And the radiant circuits, of course, are all about joy and ease and those wonderful feelings of a sense of all is well. So, goodness, I could tell you some great stories about long hookups. One lady I worked with, I'll share very quickly, and do switch if your arms are tired. One lady had the condition called dystonia. And so depending on the person and their energies, we can look with kinesiology to see what's happening that's underlying these physical experiences. And I ended up holding a hookup for this lady for about 40 minutes. So a long, long time. And of course, she was lying down and relaxing. And for me, it was very comfortable to hold. So if you hold a hookup on yourself for a long time, please do lie down or sit back. Put some cushions under your arms so you can totally relax. Maybe put some relaxing music on and receive the wondrous benefits of this. At the end of the session with this lady, she told me she had no pain, and she had had pain for months and months, and she was experiencing essentially involuntary muscle movements in her neck. So to have a relaxation with that and more comfort was so profound for her. It changed her life. It gave her hope for the future. So, of course, this is one story with one particular situation, but in truth, for a lot of people, a long hookup would be a wow. So there's my inspiration, my sell to you of try a long hookup sometime and relax out of that hookup now if you've not already. We're going to go on to connecting heaven and earth. Let's begin with our hands on our legs, so giving your arms a bit of a rest. And while you're holding here, supporting your grounding. So sometimes all you need to do to help your energies to anchor into the earth more, to ground in this way, is just placing one or both hands on your lower body, somewhere on your legs or feet. And the more you do this over time, with the intention of supporting grounding, the more quickly and easily your energies will ground. Now coming up into a prayerful position, and let's make some more space. So considering your joints and any areas in your body where you have any tension, welcoming in more space, breathing in, bringing one arm in the sky, palm facing up, and your other palm is palm facing down toward the earth, holding your breath. And then breathing out, coming back to the middle, doing the same thing on the other side. And then we do the same thing on each side of the body again. You may find the second time you can stretch a little bit more, create a bit more space, just doing what's comfortable and feels right for you. And then the last time you breathe out, allowing yourself to bend forwards gently and do your best to let everything go here. So let your arms swing, keeping your feet planted on the ground, and with your breath, allowing your body to relax. You may notice each time you breathe out, your relaxation might deepen, you might lower a few millimeters or more towards the ground. And you are making space here for energy to move. And now beginning to sway from side to side. And now introducing some figure eights. So as you're swaying, using your arms to make figure eights as you come back up. And let's add in a few more figure eights. Remembering your aura layers. I think it was yesterday where I spoke a little bit more about figure eights and the aura. And so if you'd like to, you could spend a few seconds just going through the layers closest to your body, the first layer of your aura, and then going all the way out through the 7 layers. And just like I shared with you about a long hookup, doing a hookup for 5 minutes or longer, doing lots of figure eights can be a wow. It's so dependent on you and your energies and what you need. But some of the signs of imbalances in the aura are if you have frequent illness, if you're picking up illness easily, and it seems like if someone in your house is sick or someone that you cross paths with in life, you're always picking up things. Or maybe when you go out to a busier environment, like the supermarket is a classic example, afterwards maybe you feel drained and you feel off. It might be that you've had a recent surgery or recent illness. Sometimes people say that they feel like the boundaries between themselves and other people are a bit thin. They don't feel solid in their own space. So that can be another sign of aura imbalance. And of course, there are others too as well. But you've certainly got nothing to lose and everything to gain by spending longer doing this. One of my teachers once said that it can be incredibly powerful to do figure eights in the aura for over an hour. And when I heard that, I thought, wow, the most I've ever done them for is probably 5 or 10 minutes. So I very quickly proceeded as soon as possible with someone to do a lot of figure eights when it felt right for that person. And it was extraordinary, really different. After 20, 30 minutes, I could feel the energy in the aura. Perhaps you might be able to feel that a bit now. It's possible you might, because from doing a few minutes of figure eights, you will have created more vitality. The more figure eights we have in the aura, the better. And to me, the more I do figure eights, I get more of a sort of marshmallowy sensation, a bit like I'm bouncing against a marshmallow, and I can feel sort of thickness and density that feels incredibly pleasant. So we've done all these figure eights together, and now we're going to do the Celtic weave exercise, which is one of our core exercises we use for the aura. And generally speaking, a lot of the time, this will get the job done to keep your aura expanded and to help it to stay connected to your body, potentially closing up any holes or tears as well. So let's do it now, rubbing your hands together to begin, shaking them off. And now rubbing them together again so that now you can build up a bit of fresh energy. And when you open up your hands, you might notice some tingling. You could move your hands a little bit. Sometimes when people do this, they'll say, yes, I can feel something there. And that's the chi, that's the energy that you've created. And now bringing that energy up, so your hands are at the side of your head. And you're going to breathe and weave your aura now. So breathing in, crossing your arms in front. When you breathe out, coming out to the side. And we're going down the body now. So in front of your waist, breathing in, crossing, breathing out, coming out. Now your knees and your ankles. When you come back up, roll up your aura. So remember those circles. And you could make small circles or big ones, slow ones or quick ones. There's no correct method in terms of the speed and the size. It's all about what feels good to you. So play with it. Try it different ways at different times. The people I work with one-to-one, they tell me that they get usually the best results at feeling the best when they play with exercises like this. Try them a few different ways. Try them at different times of day and in different circumstances to figure out what's helping you the most and what you need. Okay, so taking a moment now to relax, let your arms hang wherever they hang, and checking in with yourself, noticing how you're feeling after doing the core daily energy routine. And now let's do something slightly different. We are tracing the radiant circuits, of course, but before we begin, I invite you to give yourself a rating out of 10, how joyful you're feeling. Because the radiant circuits have loads of benefits, but one of the top ones is joy. So there's no right or wrong answer, and we're all human, we feel different at different times, but just so that you can begin to notice in yourself what's happening with your energies, placing yourself somewhere on a scale of 0 to 10, where 10 is the most joyful you think you could feel, like the best day of your life. And then 0 is feeling really low and flat and disconnected from a sense of joy. So just giving yourself a number, and this is just for you, for nobody else. Now we're going to trace the radiant circuit. So for belt flow, reaching round the back just as much as it's comfy, and then you're pulling the energy round and across 3 or 4 times. And then from that opposite way, smoothing all the way down the side of your leg and off your foot. And then we do the same thing on the other side. 3 or 4 times across your body, and then all the way down that opposite leg and off your foot. Let's do belt flow again. It does tend to be a favourite of a lot of people. So at the speed and pressure of your choosing, sometimes if you do a belt flow 2 or 3 times, you might find you want to change the speed or pressure. Before we go on to penetrating flow, taking a moment to check in, notice how you're feeling from the belt flow. Then bringing your hands to the small of your back, so behind your belly button, at the point we call Ming Men, the start of penetrating flow. Breathing in here. As you breathe out, dropping down a few inches. Breathing in and coming up and over your hips. And when you breathe out, bringing your hands to your pubic bone. And then the next time you breathe in, coming all the way up the midline to your mouth, and breathing out, tracing some figure eights. We're going to go into the power point now. So remember that big dip at the top of your neck, and then smoothing over the top of your head to your forehead. Coming through the nose here, tapping for a few seconds on those grounding stomach points, and tapping on these energizing kidney points. Now tracing 3 hearts over your chest, and then smoothing all the way down the front of your body and off your feet. Then we do Yang Bridge. So Yang Bridge is the back of the body, of course. Yin is always the front, Yang is always the back. So right now we're tracing these 8 in front, because we're not like little Miss Tickle in the Mr. Men books with this long, twisty arms. And it would be uncomfortable to try to reach and successfully do this at the back of your body. So here we build up a little wall, and then now turning round 180 degrees so that you can receive those 8 behind you. And if you're sitting or maybe lying down and you don't want to turn around, just visualizing that process, visualizing the 8 behind you. And knowing and trusting that your Yang Bridge will respond to that intention. Now we're going to connect the front and the back of the body with figure 8s. And just like the 8s before, you could play a little bit with slowing them down or speeding them up. You could make a game of it, see what's the fastest I can do. But that might not feel good for you and your body. So as I say, it's about doing what's good for you and your body. But if making a bit of a game like that puts a smile on your face and makes you enjoy it more, that in itself is brilliant for your radiant circuits. So anything that puts a smile on your face will help the radiant circuits to harmonise. The last 2 radiant circuits we're doing together are the yin and yang regulator. So yin regulator begins with a heart over your face, then bringing your hands down. Now we trace down the arms to the elbows, and then all the way down the front of your body and off your feet. For yang regulator, we smooth around the ears, and then again smoothing down your arms and the back of your body. And checking in with yourself. How are you feeling? And again, re-rating yourself. So if 10 was the most joy you think you could possibly feel, where would you place yourself now? Just after a few minutes of working with your radiant circuit energies. Now resting a finger in your belly button and your hand flat below. Another hand resting somewhere at your neck, anywhere at your neck that feels nice. Holding here for a minute or so. And it is my blessing and honour, truly an honour, to share some light language with you. These are healing sounds and frequencies that help to bring more balance in your energies. So holding here for your vagus nerve as you take in these sounds. Ikasha umasika ukananananana aisaka tua sikana shone kaya sukase tu se sona ikone susatitone ana se si sole. And take several deep breaths. Feeling those frequencies and noticing what that feels like in your energies. And if your eyes are closed, allowing them to open, and let's find an oracle card message for you to take with you for the day. All right. So these are the most stunning pictures, my friends. The message here for you today is come to life and look at this glorious woman and her friend here. What meaning can you take from this for yourself? What lessons or gifts can you find in this picture and in this message? Come to life. And I am wishing you the most wondrous day. Make it beautiful for yourself. And I will look forward to hopefully seeing you tomorrow or whenever you can next make it. Take good care.